How would you describe who is DC?
Just a guy that realized he had something in him at a very young age, but he didn't really even know it. Any opportunity that came to me, I went.
What is inside of you and what happened in your life that has led to all this crazy success you've had?
I'm just going to say God never left my side. God, if this working out stuff's supposed to be the base of what I'm supposed to be doing, please just give me a sign. I know you made me listen to this. And then 9:30, I got a phone call. At 10:30, asked me to be on Ninja Warrior. So I applied the night before, actually. The next night, right after that prayer, I'm a ninja.
There's the whole adage that God won't give you anything you can't handle. It's not true. It's not biblical. It's not true. In fact, it's the opposite of that. God will give you things you can't handle so that you have to go to him.
Do you believe that you have to be a little delusional?
Oh, yeah. You gotta be a little nuts. For sure. You gotta have a screw loose. What's the best piece of advice you've ever gotten?
If you believe that it will happen, it will happen.
What's up, you guys? Welcome to another episode of the Elliott Caldwell Podcast on Successful DNA. I am with my friend DC, from foster child to two-sport college athlete to current 4-time American Ninja Warrior semifinalist. How would you describe who is DC Banks?
Just a guy that realized he had something in him at a very young age, but he didn't really even know it. And it just finally came out in life. So growing up in the foster care, it wasn't so terrible. So at the younger ages, I don't remember the two first guardians I was with, foster or birth mother and then two foster families. I didn't really know them, but my older brother did. And then we got with who I'd known as my mother, but it was my foster mother. So we were with her from I was 3 to 11, and it was awesome. Love was there, everything. She just wanted us to learn and grow. We got to really explore creativity back then. I remember we only had we didn't have video games. We had Legos, notepads, and we were just doing that type of stuff. And we had to be outside. But I don't know. I feel like that's where my creativity just got unlocked and everything. And then at 11 years old, she died of cancer. And that was a big change for me because around that same time,
she's essentially your mom at that point.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. So that was tough. That was very tough because around that same time, my birth father was in my life throughout that entire time. He disappeared. He just left. I don't understand why, because they weren't together or anything, but he just left, and I went into a new household, and it was very, very difficult because everything that I had was just gone now. And I was just playing survival mode starting at 11 years old. And during that time, it's crazy because that's where I start to tap into some of my gifts, and I didn't even know what I was doing. So I never felt like I was accepted in any area of anything. So I started doing sports, and any type of sports, just to fit into any group. And I started to get good at, it could be something so random, skateboarding was one of them. People, they did course and stuff. So I started playing piano. I got good. Snowboard, every sport you could think of. I just did it to try to just be accepted into all these groups. And it's just funny how now, as we speak today, all this stuff made me into the athlete that I am today. But just during all that time, I felt like there was I was a kid, but I was soul searching and I was surviving. But all these skills have let me be able to become the person I am today. But also it trained me to have all this armor to whenever life hits me with situations, to not give up and just keep going. I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah,
that was
in St. Louis, right?
This one, West Virginia. Yeah.
And then it's interesting locally. My wife and I have been involved in the foster care ministry. I was telling you earlier before the podcast, there's actually a bunch of groups locally that are doing a lot of good work. One's called A Door of Hope, and Godly Daniel is there. There's the CEO of that company and leads that company. They're in Pinellas, Hillsborough, Pasco, I think Sarasota, Manatee now too. But the crazy stat with at least local foster care is if one family from every church, just one from every single church in Tampa Bay area, would be foster parents, that there wouldn't be an issue with the number of fathers. Supply and demand issue, where there's too many kids and not enough foster families. So they've done a lot of work. Our church is highly involved. I was telling you earlier, Harborside Christian Church over in Safety Harbor is off McMullen Booth. You can't see it from the road, but it's like a 35-acre campus back there, like, 1,000, 2,000, I don't know how many members, but it's a big church. And I know 20 or 30 families, but it's a crazy stat when you put it in that way. And I was telling you earlier before, my wife and I were also foster parents for probably about 6 months in 2019. But it's crazy what some of these kids come from. And it's heartbreaking that, what was it like with the Sacken family? You had different than the first, obviously.
Yeah, so it was just different. Like I said, like everything that I had was just gone. So I just felt like I was just fending for myself. The last 2 years of living with this guardian, she didn't even live at the house. Her daughter was taking care of me. Her daughter's like 3 years older than me. And I didn't really have any basic skills. I didn't know how to cook, wash clothes. I didn't know how to do anything. And I'm like 14. I'm like 8th grade or whatever. But it was difficult because I was never allowed staying at friends' houses. I was never really allowed to do anything. I didn't have money to do anything. Never really had fresh new clothes or anything like that. So the thing that got me avoided from being picked on, I got picked on a tiny bit, but not too much because I was good at sports. So that's the thing that like saved me.
Escaped.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you're not supposed to succeed coming out of that. What is inside of you and what happened in your life that has led to all this crazy success you've had?
I'm just going to say God never left my side. That's number one. Me and my brother actually had a conversation. My brother went through the whole system with me and everything. He's older by 4 years. And one like conversation we had, it's just so insane. So my brother decided, like, as soon as our foster mother died, he's older and he just, no guidance, went off the wrong path, start doing illegal stuff. And that was my role model. That was my person. And I tried to wear his clothes, like everything. But I never once did what he did. And I don't know why. But I'm so glad I had that self-control or like whatever she taught me when we were younger. But it's just interesting. I never went down that path, but I feel like God just left me in the direction to know that, like, don't do this because you're about to have a crazy future. Yeah. So, from the point where I got removed from that household, I got removed one day. I went to, I was at track practice. I just got done. And my Aunt Tracy, she's not really my aunt, but that's my rock. That's my guardian angel walking this earth. She came down. She was like, "They're taking you away." I was like, "Why?" And I slipped up maybe like 3 days before that, talking to my social worker. She was like, "How is everything? Da da da. How is your guardian?" And I said, "I think she's good." She's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "I saw her at church. Like, I see her at church on Sundays. I think she's doing like fine." She's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, I don't know. Like, she brought groceries, a couple groceries, like on Wednesday or something like that. And then she investigated and she found out some just crazy stuff. Like, she found out that this guardian, she got married. I didn't even know she got married. She went to jail. I didn't know. This is my guardian. So anyways, they acted very fast, and Tracy came to deliver that news. And next thing you know, I'm just so sad because I'm like, okay, all these connections or relationships I built, they're gonna ship me downstate. I'm just like real sad right now. And then Tracy decided to step up and like take the foster care classes and take me in, and my life 180, like that was it. Like, that's what I needed. That saved my life because I was attempting to take my life, and that's what I needed. And God just gave it to me at the right time, at my breaking point, honestly, I feel like. But from there, she helped me establish, she gave me love again. I had love again. I had love just transition to confidence, belief in myself and everything. And I wrote some goals down. No one's ever taught me this or anything, but I just believed in myself. As soon as I got to her, I just believed in myself. So before that that football season, so I would have been a senior going into senior year, I wrote down, I think it was 8 football goals that I was going to accomplish by the end of the year. Now, mind you, I didn't even start freshman, sophomore, junior. I played a little bit, but I didn't even start. And the first thing on the list is become a starter. And then it was just some crazy stuff, break the record, be this all-star game, be first team this, that. Anyways, I wrote it down and I went and showed her. And I was like, Aunt Tracy, I'm going to get all these. I don't even know what made me do this. And she was like, D, I believe in you. I know you will. And by the end of that season, I got 6 of the 8, but I couldn't, 2 of them were out of my control. But as soon as I accomplished that, the world was at my feet. Everything. Like, if I wanted to be the president, I'll be the president. I don't know how to describe it. Like, I'll just become obsessed with something if I believe in it. And that was the start of it all right there.
I think what's cool about your story and other people's story that's similar, and even my story, it wasn't like sunshines and rainbows growing up, right? But I think what's great about it is if you can get through that, you can get through anything. And I think God plays a special role in that. There's even a verse about it. I think it's 1 Peter 1:6. It says something like, so be truly glad there is wonderful joy ahead, even though you may have to endure many trials for a little while or something. But that turns us to who we are. That creates tenacity, toughness, discipline. Like, there's nothing that you're scared of anymore. Because, man, you can get through that. You can get through anything. I think it's cool too. I forgot what book it was, Kylie. It was a book just kind of like on mental toughness and, you know, succeeding in life. And one of the points it made was, it's no one's fault but yourself. Like, you're in control. Mm-hmm. Like, and I try to even, you know, whether it's my kids or our team members, our employees, like, it ain't my fault. It ain't your parents' fault. Like, you're the one that's in control. Because now, sure, some people have like a leg up in life, but like, I mean, what's the worst deck of card? You know, in Texas Hold'em, a 2 and a 7. Some people are dealt like a 2 and a 7, right? Arguably, you were dealt a 2 and a 7, and you know, you won the World Series of Poker with a 2 and a 7. You know, versus like, yeah, some people are even dealt, you know, ace, and they waste it away. So I think that's cool with your life that you've done. And then tell us your story, you know, through college and after the GOAT Aunt Tracy and all the records. So I'm guessing you broke some of those records and you achieved some of those goals, if not all of them.
So with the records with all the goals, so 2 of them out of my control. Basically, one was a smaller all-star game, but I made the bigger one. But the coaches elect and politics are a real thing. Yeah. So I didn't get that. And then the interception record, I got kicked out of I couldn't play a game one week because I was yeah.
Corner safety.
I was at safety, yeah. I couldn't play a game because I had in-school suspension for something so small, but this is so ironic. My brother, when he was in this high school, this guy didn't like him. They didn't like each other, and I think it got taken out on me because it was only supposed to be 3 days, and it ended up being a whole week, and I couldn't play the football game. And I'm like, dang. And it would have been the game I had it because the safety missed 2 interceptions. I'm like, all right. I wasn't supposed to have this. But yeah, so I got 6 of the 8, first team all state, first team all valley, first team all conference, first team all track, I got everything. But I just remember how obsessed I was with it every day, watching film, doing the extra like workouts, all that stuff. And it paid off. I knew what I wanted and I went full force. But now getting to college, the next goal now was make it to college. I never even thought about college, and Tracy talked about it. So one of the things was on my list was get scholarships. And it's crazy because I never even thought that before I got with her. So get scholarships. Okay, we get there. What are the statistics of foster care children even making it to college? It was a low number. It was like 6% or under. And then to even get an associate's degree was lower. A bachelor's degree is lower. And then a master's was just like less than 1%. And my new goal was like, okay, let's at least get associates, got that. All right, let's get the bachelor's, got that. Went for my master's, but I just had a bigger vision for my life, so school just wasn't it anymore. I got through 5 classes. I could easily got the other ones done, but I was just like, all right, let's go another direction to something like that you actually like love. And the reason I did choose my major was because my brother was he was wrongfully done. He did commit a crime, but it was something very minor. But since he didn't give information to authority, certain information, they packed on a lot more than what it was. And it's just like incredible how much time he had to do.
Was this in West Virginia?
Yeah. So that's why I wanted to get into criminal justice and just do something for like, to help out. I didn't even know what it even meant, but I was like, I want to do something to make some type of impact in this industry. And then I guess the older I got, it was more of a, when he got out, like help him transition back into society, because these programs and stuff, they don't really help. Like they were behind walls all these years. They don't know how to acclimate back into society. So that's a thing I'll get into one day. But that's why I chose that major. But college was good. I was a 5-year graduate. Football was good. Experience was good. Fairmont State University. Yeah. So I played football and rugby there. It was awesome. I feel like I used college more as a connection thing. So like school was cool, but like the connections I had and still have right now, like, is incredible. Like I knew at that point, I remember I knew someone in all 50 states because I was just always like a connection person. Like I never stayed in like our city. I always went to another university. I brung like 3 or 4 of the football players. Hey, you want to go to Ohio this week? Let's go to Pitt. Let's go to Penn State. Like, let's go everywhere and just like meet. Like I had like one friend and I met all these other people. So it was just like my connection thing. And that got me really plugged in just in a lot of areas and everything. But college was a great time and a learning experience for me.
It's good for you too. I think the same thing with my experience in college. Like it was good for me to get away and get to a place where I could learn all the skills of life that the little things, like you already said, like doing your own laundry,
that stuff,
cooking your own food, like the little things, paying taxes that no one really, teaches you how to do in life. If especially if it's, through the foster care system or whatnot. What year did you graduate?
I graduated college in 16 or 17.
So 16, 17 up to now, kind of high level. What's been going on?
Man, it's been a roller coaster since then, since college. So after college, took a full-time job. It was at a placement. It was helping troubled kids. Like they went there for like a rehab program. They were there for 6 months, and it was just kids from all walks. Like maybe they fought, maybe they brought a firearm to school, sell drugs, whatever it is. They had no guidance and they made bad decisions. That's all. Not bad kids, just bad decisions. And I was there because I was like, I know I can relate to these. Some were foster care children and everything. So I did that. It was very challenging even after months too. Like it was very, very hard mentally. And I made a goal. I was like, I had to at least stay here for 1 year and like help these kids, let them know that I'm not just here because they're used to people just being in and out. And I'm like, I understand this. Let me just stay at least 1 year and talk to them, maybe help them with some skills, let them know what I did to overcome. But that was good. And then around the 1 year mark, I was still chasing NFL. So this is after college. I was chasing NFL this entire time. Any opportunity that came to me, I went no matter what. So I always had someone switch my shifts with me, and it was never a problem because someone covered mine, I covered theirs. So it got to this point where I had one more. It was like in like Albany, New York, and I submitted my thingy, and my supervisor was like, I'm not going to approve this, and I didn't understand why. And I was like, what's going on? You've had too many switch shifts. Like, you need to be here. Your dream's not as important as your job. Oh, man, my keys were in that thingy. By the end of the day, that was it. I couldn't be around that energy. And I'm like, do you know, I'm not stopped for anything for this. Are you kidding me? They said that, and that was the end of that. And then now we just go from boom. All right, let's figure it out again. So anyways, right after that tryout, I hung up the cleats because I chased that for about a year, and I did a lot. Like I felt like I did as much as I needed to do. I'm not a person that gives up, but I did everything I felt in my power that I could do at that point. So just stayed around, Ubered. I Ubered and tried to figure out life. I was like, what can I do? I don't even know. So I figured out something. I was like, yeah, you wanted to play football, you work out like crazy, be a strength conditioning coach. So I went back to my university and helped out with the program and everything. And I was like, at the end of that year, I can't be in West Virginia anymore either. So what are you going to do? So I found an internship it was out of 3 of them, and I chose one because it was like a little closer. So it was out Ohio State, University of Florida, and then East Tennessee State University. All 3 of these had a master strength coach there. So like I would get a ton of information from them. But I chose East Tennessee. It was like 7-8 hours from home, not too far. And if I like ran into a problem, I could just go home, even though I know I wouldn't go home. But went there, no friends, no job, no house, no nothing. And I'm like, we could do this, whatever. I have a car. So I did the car route, and I had access to like the coach's office. So like I stayed in there sometimes, stayed in the car sometimes. But that was a learning experience big time, because it was like sort of during the winter too. So it was rough. I had a lot of blankets and stuff. So it was cool, but it was rough. And it was just like a mental thing, because I was just so alone out there. But I got to learn a lot about myself. I got to learn and grow. I wouldn't want to do it again, but it was so good just to be so alone. I feel like that isolation really does help you. Isolation, you have God, like you'll figure out answers. But we did that for 5 months. And then I already told myself, as soon as I leave West Virginia, I will not go back. So I was like, all right, what are we going to do now? So I was like, all right, we can stick with the strength conditioning stuff. Who else reached out to you back in the day? Where do you want to go? And I was like, I could go to Florida, but nah, I don't want to go to Gainesville. Arizona, I have friends out there. So I had a couple friends. One of them said I could like live with him, and another one had a job, and he whenever he put in like recommendations, they usually got it. So I knew he had 2 of our friends in there as well. So I knew I had somewhere to stay. I knew I had a job, and then I hit up the ASU coach again, and I would have been good for that. So as soon as I got out there, I met with the coach or whatever, and it just wasn't it for me. So I ended up working at well, as soon as I got out there, I didn't have a place to stay or anything either. That just fell through. So I'm out here in Arizona. I drove 2,000 miles, and I'm just sitting here on the side. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I can't like stay here, because I guess the girlfriend said I couldn't stay with them anymore, of my buddy. So I'm just out here wondering what I'm even doing. Luckily, I knew someone that went to ASU a while ago, and he let me stay on his couch for a couple weeks, and then it turned into like 2 months for free. It was at a frat house, actually. So that was a whole experience. I could keep going, but I want to.
No, then you came to Florida. After that, what brought you to Florida?
So yeah, I was in Arizona for like 4 or 5 years, and basically it was just around a time where I think God wanted me out of there, and I always talked about like just getting back to the East Coast. So basically our water heater broke in our apartment, and we like it like flooded everything, and we didn't understand what was going on. And then it did it again like 2 days later. We got a new water heater, and it did again 2 days later. So it like ruined a lot of stuff. But during this time, my engine just blew up my car, going through a breakup with a girl. All 3 of these within like 4 or 5 days. And I'm just like, what is going on? So at that second one, the inspectors came in or something, and they said that the piping underneath the surface was like not up to code or something. It was real bad and old. So they just had to demo the house. We had 2 days to get everything out. And I'm like, well, luckily I'm doing like content creation at this time. So like I can move around, but 2 days. So I got everything, Facebook, yard sale, sold it all. And then I just left and went to Denver for 3 months with one of my buddies. So I thought I was going to stay out there. Didn't end up doing that. Came down to Florida, visited. I visited Orlando, Jacksonville, and then came to St. Pete. St. Pete was it. And I ended up coming out here and moving with one of my old teammates. He had a house.
That's cool, man. And so now you're a full-time content creator, and you're highly involved in Ninja Warrior. So how'd you get into Ninja Warrior? What's up, you guys? I wanted to introduce to you our done-for-you Airbnb investing service called B&B Turnkey that has massive tax implications. It's basically an investing service that allows you to invest in cash flowing Airbnbs and not do any of the work. It's best explained in 3 phases. Number 1, we find, analyze, and underwrite the property. In phase 2, we handle all the interior design and construction. And then phase 3, we manage the property on the back end. The best part is most of our clients qualify for the short-term rental loophole of the IRS tax code. This allows for average clients to write off over $200,000 in depreciation on their tax bill. For more information, click the link in the description to connect with our team. As always, thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of the episode.
Ninja Warrior came when God gave it to me. So that year of going to Arizona and all that, told you I got out there, didn't have a job, didn't have anything. I was working at this facility, but it just wasn't sustainable for me. I was driving too far. I had no money, but I was driving too far to try to get there and back, and it just didn't make sense. But anyways, I ended up getting a trash job with waste management, and I was doing that. That took a big hit to the ego, and I just
It's big out there, and isn't that where headquarters is?
Yeah, I think so.
There's
Yeah,
the Waste Management Open, the golf tournament.
Exactly. But I was doing waste management, and I think at this time I finally got a personal training job at like LA Fitness. But I had that period of no more football, and then I tried rugby after football. It didn't work out, so no more football, no more rugby. Maybe like a 6 to 8 month, 10-month gap of nothing, and I don't feel like myself. Like I came out here, there's nothing I'm chasing or anything. I don't know what I'm doing. I have no direction, and then I'm working this trash job. But doing the trash job, I made sure I learned during it. So I always listen to podcasts or just something to like not make me think that I'm in that situation. So I was listening to this podcast one day. It was Tyler Perry and Oprah. And he was just talking about his journey, like how he just got denied from all these years. And then he got to this final, his breaking point, basically. And he just said, God, if this is what I'm supposed to do, just let me know, please. Like, give me some type of sign. He got his sign. It's crazy. And I was like, you made me listen to this right now. I'm just carrying this. I just remember I'm walking up these steps carrying this big old tote with like 6 bags. My body's sore because I'm doing the content stuff and I'm going crazy with it because I'm like, I need to make something happen. So I'm real sore just walking. I was like, God, if this like working out stuff's supposed to be the base of what I'm supposed to be doing, please just give me a sign. And I know you made me listen to this. And then my shift got done at like 9:30. I got a phone call at 10:30, asked me to be on Ninja Warrior. So like I applied the night before actually. And I didn't think that anything of it. I was like, oh, I'm not going to get whatever. I'll try it out. Night before, and then the next night right after that prayer, I'm a ninja.
At that point in time, how long had you been, participating and working out to prepare yourself for competition?
I had 2 trainings actually. The first one I did decent. It humbled me up when I first went in there because I'm like, I'm strong. I can do all this. Yeah. I see these little kids flying. Yeah, I got this. Ripped my hand. Oh, it was bad. And then I went up the warp wall and I came down and rolled my ankle. And I think competition was in like 2 weeks. I like sprained my ankle. It was bad. And so I was just on that. That was bad. And then I had one more training. So 2 trainings. Yeah.
So you were like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Time to get going on training.
Yeah.
I think one of the things, that story is incredible, man. I think one of the things that kind of hit what you're talking about when you were at East Tennessee, and you're independent and alone and getting closer with God at that point. I think that's purposeful by God. I forgot what the context was, but our pastor was talking, Kurt, who's been on the podcast before. There's the whole adage that God won't give you anything you can't handle. That's not true. It's not biblical. It's not true. In fact, it's the opposite of that. Like God will give you things you can't handle so that you have to go to him. And so I think that's kind of cool of that part of your story. Full tent content creation. What does that look like for you now?
I make videos every day. Yeah. It's been good. So I do.
Is that all yourself or do you have a videographer? Or?
Everything is me. It's starting to get a little overwhelming.
Everything.
Yeah. But I had to learn. So like I've always been creating my videos and stuff, and it's just so interesting looking at the timeline of and the transition of everything, like how bad it used to be, how good it used to be. People are always like, how do you, because I'll still edit on my phone sometimes. They're like, how do you edit this quality content? I'm like,
CapCut.
I've just been doing this for so long. That and this app called Video Shop, I've probably been using for like 10 years. But Yeah, so just making and editing videos every day. It's cool. It's very challenging. Everybody's like, that's a fairy tale. Like, that's so cool. But there's so much that goes into it. I'm not a very organized person, so I struggle with I get that things done at deadline, but like I struggle like right before like to get it done. Like yeah, that's just something I'm working on. Just being more organized. But it's been awesome, and it's crazy because some of these companies I reached out to a long time ago, they never, nothing, no reply or anything. I'm talking years ago, and then now they're in my DMs trying to get me to make content for them.
What would you say, like, what's, like, with how crazy your story is, what's, like, one core memory from your upbringing that's kind of shaped your mindset today?
I still think it was just that day and Tracy came to the track. Honestly, it was an angel. It was God sent this angel, like, I haven't given up on you, I got you. I think that was it. That changed everything.
In your life today, what does success look like?
I feel that success for me is bringing joy to a lot of, using your platform or like whatever it is, bringing joy to a lot of people, but by using like your gifts that God gave you. Just bringing joy and motivating, whatever that might look like.
In your content, one of the things I notice is like you're a very good storyteller. Like, where did that talent come from, you think?
I don't know. Someone told me this not too long ago. I was like, I'm not too sure about that one.
Natural?
Yeah, I guess so, because it's funny though. I didn't talk for the longest time in my content. I knew I was missing something, and then I just start talking. I don't know. I like fear. Well, I have fear, but I don't have fear. Like, if I have fear, I'll make sure I overcome that fear. And yeah, talking was one of those things. I just start doing it. I don't really know where it came from, but
What would you say a mistake is, like, content creators make far too often?
not being consistent. The fact that, like, oh, this is supposed to do numbers and it doesn't, deleting it and not being consistent and just giving up just like that. That happens every single day. Like, they'll buy all the equipment and everything. I'll make this happen. Consistent for 1 week, done. Just
There was
giving
this
up.
one video I just thought of. It was with Gary. This guy went up to Gary V, and Gary V, I guess, said something like, hey, post every day for 6 months, and I promise you'll get results. And the guy was like, hey, I posted for 6 months, and I didn't get one video, like every day for 6 months, and not one video took off. But it was like, then I posted one more time, and it took off. So it was like 6 months in one day. It was a pretty cool story. You've worked with some big names and some big people. Like, how do you maintain like authenticity, like, as your brand grows?
Well, as it's been growing, that's an interesting one. As it's been growing, I'm very selective on who I work with now. Because before it was just, oh, gimme, because I want to just build this brand and just build up my portfolio and everything. But now, especially with my personal brand, like, I'm very selective on what I do, because I don't want people to think like, oh, he's just doing this because he's getting paid. I want them, like, if it's something I feel like it actually can work for somebody, then that's where I wanna use it. It's a little bit more lenient on the UGC side. So like, there's things I still make for them, but I know it's not going on my personal page, but it's like nothing I really had to put too much thought in. Like right now, I'm doing some UGC videos for a wallet. The wallet can make your life a little bit better. Like that's all. Like, I don't really have to put it on my page or anything, but I'll do stuff on that, and I'll just give all the features and everything. And I don't know. I don't do. All right, let's play with an example. All right, so there was a pretty money point on what is it called? The Zens, like the thingies. Oh, it was a beautiful number. It wasn't the Zen, it was something else. But they offered me some good money, but I could never do that. Even if it's UGC, like, that's not part of it. Like, they said make sure you put it into like your daily routine. I'm like, oh, that money's so good, but like, I can't do that on my page or UGC. I couldn't do something like that.
Are you just a Bucks fan, or do you have a role with the Bucks?
What is it?
Are you just a Bucks fan with a hat, or do you have a role with the Bucks?
I'm a Bucks fan, and I don't know. I help out with some things. Yeah.
Well, I saw a video. I think it was like with the crew or something. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been helping him out like with a couple campaigns and stuff. Like it actually so crazy. It landed me on billboards all around the area. So it was their campaign for the crew, like just showing generations of the crew and everything. And then of the year 2023, that's where I got to be the spotlight for that.
Is affiliates like your number one source of income right now?
I'd say UGC is. Yeah, and then affiliates might like probably number 3. UGC, influencer marketing, and then affiliate.
What's next for your Ninja Warrior life?
Not going in the water.
Yeah, I saw that video. So you're going through the end. What was your thought process right there? You said you made a mental mistake. What was that mistake?
I just didn't push it. Just a mental error. I was an inch or less.
Yeah.
I just needed to push it up a tiny bit more. And I didn't do that. Like,
you need to swing more?
Yeah, it would have like locked in for a second, and I would have been able to get off.
Yeah.
But I just didn't move it up.
And if you're listening and you're like, what are they talking about? Just go to DC's Instagram. You'll see one of the most recent videos of him, making that mistake and falling in the water, but it was still an incredible run. So what's that look like? Like, is it just once a year? So you have to wait till next year?
Well, I went through so fast, I made semifinals.
Okay.
So semifinals will probably be like next month. I'm guessing they'll put that out. But yeah.
Have you already had semifinals?
Yeah, so we pre-recorded months before.
Okay, and that was in Arizona too?
Vegas.
Yeah. Okay, Vegas, yeah. And that still hadn't came out yet? Can you give us anything? Are you happy?
I'm a fun person. That's all I gotta say. Okay. It'll be exciting to watch.
Are you happy with the result?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And what's next after that? Like, so nothing in Ninja Warrior until next year?
Yeah.
New, at least?
Yeah, for Ninja wise. Yeah. So nothing, there's no Ninja right now, but there's other like Ninja leagues and stuff. I don't really participate in those. I just do like the grand, like just Ninja Warrior ever. But I compete in like Spartan races, High Rocks, Decas, stuff like that. So there's.
Where do you train Ninja Warrior? Where do you train?
Jungle Gym in Pinellas Park.
Okay, cool. I was telling you about that. One of our sales reps' daughter goes there. I've never been, but it seems like it's probably one of the top shops for ninjas locally.
Yeah.
How'd you find out about that place?
I would say in the country, it's one of the top gyms.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right there in Pinellas.
Yeah. This is right there. So I already knew about it whenever I was in Arizona, and that sort of got me here to St. Pete because I wanted a ninja gym too, and I knew like show was coming up and stuff again. So, yeah, I already knew about it, and I knew like top ninjas were there, and I would get better if I was around them. So that was a reason.
That's cool, man. Who owns that?
Jason Bergstrom, the Bergstroms.
I'm assuming that he's been in competitions or no?
Yeah, back in the day. Yeah,
back in the day.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. Well, with the podcast being on Successful DNA, like, what do you think's inside of you? What do you think's inside of successful people around you that have gotten them to where they are? I
honestly just think all successful people have been through something. Mm-hmm. Like they have had trials and they've been tested and they came out the other side. Like there's just two ways you can go. Like you said, no one's coming to save you. It's just on you. So they chose to become successful and not give up. And then, yeah, there's just two sides to it. And that reminds me of your tagline. It's on your Instagram, but I forgot it. What was it? Just wait on it. Just wait on it. What is that? Just wait on it. To me, man, I went through a rough time with that one. Basically, work as hard as you can. Like, you can't lie to yourself of the amount of work you put in. If you work as hard as you can, it's going to happen. Keep working, but like, it's going to happen. Just wait for it to happen. And then that's just even, like, we can go back to the Ninja Warrior thing or whatever. Like, just keep working. Something's going to happen. And there that was. There's so many scenarios with that. Like, even the football story I told you earlier. I worked. I knew I was working. And that's where it was birthed right there. Like, after I was like, I worked so hard, and I knew I worked as hard as I could, and it happened. So you can't lose if you don't give up. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like that metaphor that you've seen the pictures before. It's the God that's like digging for diamonds, and he's digging and he's digging and he's digging, and he gives up. But if he would have dug, it's like you can see on the other side of the rock, there's the diamonds right there. If you dug one more time, he would have got it. I think that's huge. Where like, so many people give up when it gets hard.
And that's one I like, and you too, like when things get hard, like I don't want to say I'm happy, but I know I'll get through it because I know I won't give up, where most people will, right? And so that's, a huge part of our story is like, we wouldn't be here, obviously, if we'd have given up, and there's no telling where we would be. Like me and you have, similar, not similar, but, unique upbringings of, bad things that happen in our life. And we had no business on being in the place that we're at. But we didn't give up. What's next, man? What's next for you?
I'm going to be talking. So this year I decided to share my story. That was a major step in my life because I never wanted to be vulnerable. And because I feel like I got my strength from not being vulnerable and everything. And it's like I have more strength now that I was vulnerable because I know myself. I love myself. I got God. I'm all right. Like I'm good. But like just talking, like stages, that's going to be a thing. And specifically just starting with like people that maybe come from like a single parent home or like foster care, like kids, like to start with that and let them know your situation isn't your destination. Like you got time. Stuff's going to happen for you.
Yeah, I'm going to connect you with Godly. He's the founder of A Door for Hope locally, and I think there's a lot of cohesiveness there that would work out. Maybe even, is there even a program of getting foster kids involved in Ninja Warrior? That'd be cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Wow. I have no clue, but that would be.
We'll make it happen.
Very cool.
Yeah, I'll connect you on text. Well, cool, man. Well, let's end with this question. What's the best piece of advice you've ever gotten?
If you believe that it will happen, it will happen.
Dude, that's amazing. That's not good. That's amazing. No, I agree. I think fake confidence is like so key in life, of like being positive, always working around the no's and only seeking the yeses. Like that's so key in life. No, I agree.
Do you believe that you have to be a little delusional?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You got to be a little nuts. Oh, yeah, I do. I mean, for sure. You got to have a screw loose, But I also think, too, you got to have a screw loose. And then I grew up in Easley, South Carolina, Piedmont, South Carolina, small towns, about 20 minutes west of Greenville, South Carolina. And what we said is you got to have a little shit in your neck, which is like, people are like, what does that mean to me? This is like, you got to be different, and you got to have a screw loose, and you got to be like, I mean, and that goes for, like you said earlier, every successful person has gone through some junk, like, and everybody goes through junk, but some people come out the other side different than other people. They don't give up. All the things we talked about on this podcast, we're all dealt a different deck of cards, and it's up to you what you do with it. So. Well, cool, man. Well, I hope there's going to be so many listeners inspired by your story. It's absolutely incredible. You have a new fan in your corner, and I'm sure many more are listening. We're pulling for you, dude. And thanks for coming on the pod.
I appreciate you, brother.
Hey, man.